All right, guys, I'm hanging out with Alan DeBerry, lead software engineer for Starcraft 2, Heart of the Swarm. Yesterday, I was sitting in, we were waiting to see those new units in action, and the reaction of the crowd has been one of my favorite moments in BlizzCon, just like people like, holy God, finally seeing it. Is that rewarding for you? You know, obviously you've been testing it so far, but seeing it in front of a big crowd like that, just getting that reaction.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the awesome things about BlizzCon is that, like, validation and the feedback from the fans where we've been working on this stuff for a while, and we work a good amount to make sure we're doing our best job. But hearing from the fans how they perceive these things, how they enjoy them, how they react to them, that's the best part for us.
Right. As far as the game balance of the new units, you're adding it in. As far as concerns of disrupting like tournament play and things like that, the idea that theoretically something could get through that maybe could break tournament play, how do you address those concerns and progress through that?
I mean, that's a really important part for us because right now, Wings of Liberty is actually really balanced. We're seeing great games in esports, so it's a delicate balancing act. We talk to pros, we watch tournaments, we get our own stats internally from Battle.net ladder games, and so we've kind of analyzed what are the different areas where people are doing good or bad at, and we try to find holes in the game, like things that we can improve on, and those are the parts that we tried to improve on. And once we develop those new units, then we talk to pros, we talk to people internally and try to figure out what the best thing is for the game.
So you guys do get, you have a lot of esports gamers in right now as far as testing that early on?
We actually communicate with them a lot externally, and even when we do our PTRs for like new balance patches, we get them on our PTR, our public test realm, to try out the new stuff and see what they think and get feedback from them.
Right. Now, obviously, you can't say how far along you are, but are you feeling confident that you guys might be making a move towards more of a true closed beta and opening up to like masters, grandmasters, things like that?
Yeah, we're making really good progress. I mean, we're actually showing a massive amount here at the show. I'm surprised how much we are showing. But at the same time, you know, as always with all of our games, the feedback we get during both BlizzCon and the beta, this is the kind of stuff that will help us shape where we end up at. So if people tell us that we're way off the mark right now, who knows, we might go back and retool the whole thing.
All right, I just want to get into some of the nitty gritty. A lot of people I know around me had a lot of questions about some of the individual units. I just want to start with the replicant. A lot of people are very excited about this, but also, worried like, okay, now not only do I have to anticipate, the full list of their units, but possibly my own stuff turn against me with like better skills than me. How will players have to sort of, balance that in their own minds when they're playing against that unit?
It's one of those units where on one hand it can be totally awesome and epic, and on the other hand it can completely destroy the game. Like in our playtest, we've actually had a lot of fun with it. We've heard some feedback that some bad things could happen as a result of it, like David Kim mentioned. Right now you can actually get the workers from the other races, and you can essentially build up their units. For example, taking an SCV and building orbitals, you can now do mules and comsat, which is huge. But we'll have to see how it works out in playtesting and both with the pros playing as well. There has been mind control type stuff in the past, so we've had this in some previous games, but I think this is a earlier version of it, so we'll have to see how it turns out.
Okay. The carrier came up, just a very iconic unit that's now no longer a part of it as it used to be. We've got the Tempest now. Can you talk about how the Tempest is taking over some of that role, and in regards to like other units like the Void Ray that have similar ground-to-air attacks, things like that?
Sure. I mean, the main feature of the Tempest is this AoE anti-air effect.
Right.
There's several situations where, especially when you're going up against Mutalisks, where they can get such a large group. Protoss has a trouble really combating that. You can get Phoenix, but unless you have a large number of them, you'll really be in trouble. So we felt that was a hole there that we could potentially put something in to counter that.
Moving on to lore, I know one of the focuses of sort of this next piece of the story is exploring the question, what does it mean to be Zerg? And I'm wondering, obviously this is an answer we'll find out by playing the game, but just elaborate a little bit in terms of like, people are like, okay, well, what does it mean to be Zerg? Is it might makes right? Is it the concepts of free will and things like that? Can you just elaborate a little bit about what we'll be exploring?
So, I mean, one of the big differences between like the Zerg and the Terran, as far as campaign-wise, is this concept of just galactic domination. Really, Zerg are spreading out all over the universe, and especially in Heart of the Swarm, you now have Kerrigan, who she's now trying to reclaim her rightful place, as the head of the Swarm, and so I think that's going to be this ongoing theme through the story, and that you'll really be reuniting the different forces and essentially conquering worlds, destroying worlds, where in Wings of Liberty, Jim Raynor's not really trying to destroy worlds.
Right. From a lore perspective, Kerrigan, you're playing with her in the campaign, and she can be destroyed and res, and she still has her ghost suit. Is there a sort of a lore explanation for how that's possible, or is that one of those mechanics where it's just like, okay, you have to be able to do that?
Yeah, that one, I think they have an answer for you. I don't actually have a good one on that, but I mean, one of the things is Kerrigan is this ultimate badass. She can just wield the might of the swarm, and so at the same time on the missions she can just create epic types of damage against her enemy and revive. So
Sure.
It's one of those cool things that we can do that with her, where with Jim Raynor it's kind of hard to do that when he's just a normal.
Yeah, harder to explain.
Yeah.
Well, we've definitely seen a lot of new exciting stuff. I'm definitely excited. I haven't got my hands on it yet. I'm going to try and get some downtime down on the floor, so thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.